Hi guys, in the previous lesson we have learned how to filter the data frame with one column, but in this lesson we will try to filter the data frame with two or more columns. Let's first create a new file and call it filter multiple. Filter multiple. Click Shift Enter. Now I will try to import the Pandas library here. Import Pandas SPD and or dataset df equals to pd red csv. One step back, data folder, and the name of the file will be nba.csv, and call this data here df60. Click Shift Enter, and it will import all data which is located in the data folder. Now what I want, before filtering the data, at the same time I will show you the possible errors which are going to appear so that you can solve them and continue to work. Here I will try to pick up a couple of columns in order to filter. The first one will be team, maybe the second one will be age and salary. But before filtering it, I want this age column to be printed like an integer because it has some floating or decimal points. It has a data type as floating. I can even check it like that, df dtypes. If I shortly show you the data type of this column, it will print out the float, but I want this one to be printed as an integer here and convert it. In order to convert it, if I just take this column and try to convert it directly here, let's type integer, click Shift Enter, it will print out an error. Why? Because we have NaN values inside of these columns, and maybe we might have an NaN value inside of this age column too. You could see it will print out an error. It says I can't convert non-fitting values NaN to integer. If I try to check the NaN values inside of all of my folders here, I will type in df isna or is null, no matter, and sum method here. Click Shift Enter. You could see that our age column again has an NaN value. So before converting it, I will have to do what? Drop the NaN value from that column. Why do I do this? Because I want to use this column as well, team, age, and salary, and the only thing that I want is to change the data type of this column. But before changing the data type, I will have to remove the NaN value inside of that column. That's the main purpose of dropping it. And df, you might face the same problems while using your or filtering your data. Df dropna, and then inside of the dropna method I will give a subset equals to the name of the column will be age, and whole will be any, and then in place I will save it like in place equals true. I will make it permanent and remove the NaN value. If I again comment it out and check it, run, you could see it would drop all these NaN values. Possibly it has an NaN value in all columns at the same position, at the same row. That's why it has deleted one NaN values with all of these columns here. Okay, no matter, but we have already done what we want. If I check separately the age is not, you could see that it has an NaN value, and now we are ready to convert this column to what? To the integer and make it look better. Df age equals as type end and call this data frame here, and you could see that this age is being converted to the integer here. You could see this is the has a floating number with 0 and data type is float, while this one is the integer. You could even check it with df dtypes. Click shift enter. You could see age has been converted to integer. Now we can easily do what? Filter it. We already know how to filter the data based on one column. I can even repeat this process. df equals to what? If I want to pick up one of these columns, let's say I want to pick up this team column, team, and then I will type in the equals, 2 equal sign, not 1. Be sure that you have 2 equal signs instead of 1, because if you type in 1, it will assign that value to each row of your data frame column. That's not the same as this one. It has 2 equal signs if you want to filter them. And the name will be what? Boston, as an example, Celtics, right? And click shift R, it will print out the true for the rows which contains this Boston Celtics value here. But if I want to print the whole data frame with that value, I will entail it with square brackets and call the data frame itself and click shift enter. You could see that it will print out these rows here. But what if I want to give another conditions here? Maybe add one more condition and print the data frame like that. In order to do that, we will have to what? Do and we will give an and here, but and isn't written like this one because Pandas will not support it like this one. Pandas instead of and will support the ampersand here, and after the ampersand you will again click the data frame column here, maybe the age, and then if I want to sort it based on the value here, I can easily do it like age equals to more than 25. Basically, I want to sort out this data frame with the Boston Celtics value for the team column here, and the age should be all the rows which are greater than 25 here. But if I click shift enter here, it will give an error. Why? Because we will have to surround these parameters with these round brackets here, like this one, in order to make the Pandas understand it. If I click shift enter, you could see it has extracted the rows which are meeting for both of these conditions here, for this one and for this one here. We could even do what? Assign it with the variables here. This is the easiest way of doing it. You will not just define these parameters separately in this data frame. How to do this? First, I will just use an and assign it with variables like this m1. I will assign m1 equals to df, for example, team, and then equals to, this will be equals to, it has some values here. Let's count the values. Which values does team has? df team value counts. Click shift enter. Let's see, pick this one. Okay, I want to sort this one first. The columns with these values. This will be the first parameter. The second will be m2 equals to the df. Again, the column name will be what? The column name will be age. Again, age, and age should be greater than 27 as an example. And I can click shift enter here, and now nothing is being printed out because I haven't called it. But if I try to call it, I will type in the df again, and instead of these ones, as you can see, I have placed these parameters here, but I have defined these parameters to the variable here, and that's why I can easily call the variables itself here, m1 and ampersand m2. If I click shift enter again, you could see that it would extract New Orleans Pelicans with the values of greater than 27 here. Age values of greater than 27. I can even because if you pay attention here, I have surrounded these values with round brackets, but here it hasn't been surrounded because we have used the variables, but I can do it without problems. The result, I think, that will be the same. If I click Shift Enter, you could see that Pandas will understand it and print out the result. This is the best way of signing, as it will not confuse you while filtering the large data. We have used the ampersand instead of and. Additionally, we could use what? The vertical bar for the OR statement. Let's say I want to print out the college here, college columns here. These college columns should be equals to Texas. This was the first one. The second one will be A2. In this example, I will do what? I will use and or vertical bar as a filter option here. Df age equals to what? Or equals or greater than 25, and the third could be, let's df. The third will be what? Df. The name will be salary. I will pick up the salary here, colon, and this should be greater than, let's pick up the 7. Let's pick up this one. Okay, and now I can assign all these values to the variables here. A1 equals to this one. A2 equals to the second one, and A3 will be the third one. And now I can call them with the data frame here. If A1 and A2, and see what will it print first. You could see that it will print the Texas values for college column and these values, these all 31, 30, 28 values for each column, because these are greater than 25 and the college is equals to Texas here. But we have what? Ampersand here, and it means that the requirement is and. It means that both of these conditions should be true in order to print it out. But if I want to add one more condition, especially this condition is called OR condition. OR condition means that one of these statements should be true. This works for Python, but in Pandas you will use what? This vertical bar symbol, and you could type in the A3 here, and if you click Shift Enter, it will print out what? Bunch of color rows here, because it will take all these salary rows which are greater than for this value here. You could see that although it takes these parameters to A2, A1 equals to Texas, and this age is greater than 25, but it also prints out these values here, 24, although it does not require or does not meet to this condition, because this one, 24 or Colorado, which is not equal to this Texas, has a salary which is greater than this value here, this value. One more example, we will use look in order to filter the data frame. We are going to cover the log and ilog in Pandas in the future. Basically, the log and ilog are two functions in Pandas that are used to slice the data set in a Pandas data frame. The function log is typically used for label indexing and can access multiple columns, while ilog is used for integer indexing. Let's, as an example, I will type in the variable equals to df, and the name of the column will be the college here. If I want to sort what? The values based on one column here, Texas, and then I will want to print out the all the columns based on that column values here. I mean, if I want to print out these columns here based on this column value. In order to do that, I will type in the df t. If I print it out like that, it will do what? Print out all these columns, the whole data frame with these values. But if I want specific columns for that, I can easily use what? dflock function, dflock method, and inside of the lock, with inside the square brackets, I will give what? The column names here. Let's see that I want to print out these two columns, name and team. Name, and then I will type in the team, right? Team. And let's run it in another cell to visualize it. And okay, I will have to pass in what? The t itself, because we have defined the t variable for that value here. I will delete it, run this one first, and run this one again. Okay, you should entail it with one more brackets and print it out. You could see that inside of this data frame you will see this column, our Bradley column, has a Texas value inside of this college column, and hence it will print out the our Bradley, and all these values are the same like this one. It just extracted what is the name of these columns here. You could even extract the college column itself here by typing the college here. Click Shift Enter. You could see it will just give you another data frame here. And that's it with multiple columns filtering. I think we have a bunch of other methods to use or to filter the data, such as queries or where statements, but we will cover all of them in the future. Don't worry. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.